Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to round 3. If you've just joined us, this is the Intel Extreme Masters Oakland Qualifiers for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, and we are in the finals. It is best of 5. We've had 2 epic rounds. Joining me for this one, I am Lee D. Smith, by the way, in case you didn't know that by now. And joining me is Matrim. We're going to be here all day. North America will follow this, but right now we're waiting for the conclusion of Europe. And we're at the midway point. We've already had 2 epic rounds, Matrim.
Oh, yeah. I'm really excited for moving into round 3. Just hoping we get a little bit less water that we saw inside the last round. Water is always just kind of anticlimactic as it comes towards the end. But I have to say, we saw some solid plays coming out inside of it. People really just trying to make landfall and fighting their way through. We did see the bridge troll strategy last time around, which I don't think that I've seen that before, so I have to give it a little bit of credence for being new, interesting, and just hanging out underneath of there. But I'm really hoping for just some solid play areas inside of this. Let's move away from some plains. Let's move away from some rivers. Let's get some nice, solid ending circles coming through on that. Now that I've said that, I'm going to caster curse it. We're going to end up in like military base on an island off on the south side or something crazy. But I'm just really excited. We're seeing such high-quality play coming out of all of these teams today. And again, this is all about who's going to be able to qualify and go to Oakland. The top 4 teams, you know, everybody's got their nerves into this. It's all about the emotion. Everybody's excited to be playing inside this. I can't wait to see what these players have for us this round.
Well, here we go then. The drop is on straight over the top of Georgie. Are we going to see? Remember, we had, what, 4 top ELO teams in there last time. It was AAA, G2, we had a Vanguard in there, and Crimson, I believe, were all in the same spot. Are they going to differentiate their plan? I'm pretty certain they are.
It looks like they had enough of that from last round. It was like, okay, that was a little bit too hot. So now everybody is avoiding Georgia Pool. Well, I say that. Looks like we might have Shadow.
Yeah, Vanguard are going to North Georgia again, and it looks like AAA are going there again as well. So they're sticking to their game plan, but it's definitely a change for G2.
Now it's going to be interesting to see how everybody else is going to play this. This is one of our first circles that we've really had, or one of our first planes that we've really had, that's going to be pushing along the center route. So it's really going to open up just about anything that anybody could want to do. Military base is probably a little bit too far away, but past that, just about anything that you would want on the map you could get to. So it's going to be really interesting to see now that everything is up and available, what people are going to be trying to play off of. And you can see that a lot of squads are opting into pushing south. We have several different squads that look like they're heading towards Milta Power area. A lot of people opting into the more trash loot, quote-unquote, style around Gatka, where everybody's going to separate out, trying to get what loot they can, so we might see a couple of small skirmishes over there. But I think it's all about coming down to where everybody's going to opt into moving. You can see a couple of people are potentially going for a couple of vehicles really early on this. Well, I say that, but look, we're having a lot of people really populating around this Milta area. A lot of people still in their parachutes looking to see where they're going to land at. Bikini Model looks like he's managed to get a claim onto Milta Power itself. Meanwhile, a couple of squads dropping into Milta proper.
Yeah, so I think there's 3 squads down there, isn't it? There's Havu. I don't know who else. Okay, so Havu's in there. Don't recognize the other name. I'm trying to think who they are. Also looking at Yasnaya. 2 squads went into Yasnaya. And there's the circle coming in. First circle, Georgie just about in it. It's a very similar one, but this time very much more central on Gatka. And we do obviously have a Pachinki squad as well. So they're going to be very set up right now. Dominators... looks like they have some vehicles. I think they're going to head off to Sosnovka military base. They've been there every time. G2 made the adjustment. They've actually gone back to their original tactic, and that was to drop over this eastern area with prison, shelter, mansion, etc. The problem is that Crimson are also here, and Lipovka has a squad as well. So it's actually a pretty contested area.
I often find it funny whenever you see these competitive matches, the more rounds that these squads play against each other, they all kind of carve out their own little territory. Like, this is where I'm going to drop, you don't come here anymore. And you can see that whenever these contests happen, they really do try to lay out their dominance on it. So the further we go in, unless we see a really strong defeat coming out for one of these squads, they're all going to just try to figure out where they can go to, specifically on each drop.
First shots going on there. That was Rory, I think I saw. Who was he fighting? I didn't see who he was firing at. Is Miguel? Miguel's on his team. I don't know what on earth he was shooting at there.
Sometimes you just got to let your teammates know what's up. Throw a couple bullets at them and say, hey, no, that's my level 3.
But yeah, go back to your point, actually. I mean, even just watching the qualifiers the last 2 days, I can tell you where teams are dropping. A Vanguard, always North Georgia Pole. AAA actually switched it up. Havu, if they can, they'll always go Milta Power. They did it in the qualifiers, and they're doing it right now and here in the finals. G2, pretty much where they are right now. They always go for that spread stack. And actually, I think it's Kingwin. Kingwin do exactly the same in the exact same areas, so it's a shame we don't get to see them in here because it would have been very interesting to see how they'd have contested that one. They're all kind of getting their separated strategies, which is going to be interesting, obviously, going forward. You know, you think of your other FPS games, you think of favoured maps, etc. These are basically favoured positions, and we can start building these stories on these teams.
Exactly. That's a big key component of this. So we'll really have to see how teams try to contest in this. It's not really until you start seeing EU versus NA, where people are like, no, Georgia pool is mine, that you start getting these really strong contestants coming out. Jansen's throwing a few bullets over towards the shooting range up near Saverny, just trying to make sure that nobody comes near Saverny, just saying, hey, no, you get out of here. This is our area. Circle is up and active, naturally, as we were talking about a second ago, around the Gatka area. Most of the squads actually seem to be on the outside of it. So this is where that, again, those early movement phases are going to be really, really influential. Who's going to move first? Who's going to try to secure somewhere really strong? Who's going to go for the center spots? Who's going to play the edge? These decisions that happen in these first two circles really ending up being the key deciding factors what happened in the in-game circles. Do you take the extra time to get the extra meds? Do you go for the centering positions? Do you try to grab as many vehicles as you can get? All of these things end up being big factors that all add up, each small choice, into who wins the round.
And it's interesting you mentioned that, because Avanga, obviously they got caught out by the rotation last time. Keen is already in that centre circle. The rest of his team is still in North Georgia Bowl. Keen has gone, secured his area. It's going to be this little yellow building complex, and that will be relayed, and I wouldn't be surprised to see the other three members of his team head this way in just a few moments. And Mumino is already on the way.
Well, this area that we see that Keen is holding down is extremely popular along competitive lines, mainly because it has all of these little rock formations that are along the side of it that are going to be facing down towards the south. And on the north, it has this little lip. You can see that a lot of the pro teams really lean into playing with buildings that have walls or some form of outer protection because they don't want to really have to stay inside the buildings. They want to be able to get some type of vision and shoot at anybody that comes around them, make sure to get those kills or at least scare people off of coming onto their buildings. If you actually lean into the buildings, now you're forced by window sight lines. So it's much better to have these much more controlled outdoor locations that you can really make sure to get some control over the real estate around you and not let anybody contest.
All right, Brasserie just, okay, he's already driving off. Oh, he's got an AWM, I think. Was that M24 AWM?
Pop back over here. I was looking in a different direction. I believe that is going to be the AWM coming out.
Yeah, okay, I was correct to my first guess. So they've got the AWM. Okay, so that's one of them in play. I'm looking towards any rotations, how they're going to start playing out. G2 are making moves. It's always interesting to see just how many vehicles pop into play at this stage. It's like amazing how many people just find anything they can.
Yeah, it's just a matter of whatever you can get. It's very much a scrounge section right now. Whenever you go into this, like specifically the trash looting strategy, and you separate out, you know you're not going to walk away with level 3 everything. You're just trying to make sure you have the tools necessary to secure those first couple of kills, and hopefully everybody else will deliver you the loot that you need as you kill them.
All right, let's have a look at some of the loots. AAA have been in Georgie for a while. Let's go through their squad because they're in a good position right now. They've had a third and a fourth place finish so far. So AAA looking very good for the qualifiers. Don't forget, there's still obviously this round another 2 to go, so that could all change if somebody has some epic rounds. We haven't seen those monster rounds, have we yet, where people have hitting like 15 plus kills, which we saw throughout the qualifiers. Kind of expected, because obviously the higher tier of player, effectively, everybody's had to run the gauntlet to get here. It's fairly standard loot, nothing standing out. It's very much level 2s across the board, and pretty much everybody's geared up with a pan.
Hey, it's all about getting the pan. We all know that that's one of the most useful items inside of here. You can't consider yourself fully geared until you have that butt protection.
You gotta cover those butt cheeks. Velen, by the way, sticking with his team. So,
hey.
Has there been discussions in G2? I don't know. Havu are actually moving north. I'm just seeing Encelenso. I don't really mind. They're actually very spread, actually. They've got the 4 vehicles. Encelenso's going to go very close to a team at the moment. So, I know a lot of people, I've seen in chat, actually, people... everybody wants something different from camera controls. I know I've had a lot of pro players saying, please keep the map up. We want to see the rotations because obviously they're interested to see what the pro teams are doing. They know what the game looks like. They don't need to be told that. So I do try and show that as much as I can. I try and keep it loaded out. Clayton, it looks like he's found himself a complex. And that looks like it's going to be G2's home as everybody is heading that direction. It's right next door to the Russian, and I say Russian and Ukrainians. There's 2 Ukrainians on that team, so let's not discredit them. Keenan Mumino already in there. Clayton, Tyrone is coming. That's AKA Steven. It is another member about to come in. I can hear the vehicle, but I can't see him. There he is. Velen has joined them as well. So they're already getting set up in the circle, nice and early this time.
Well, that's what it's all about right now. Get some control inside of the circle. We've been seeing that being something a lot of these squads, I think that it's a matter of confidence. Like they're saying, hey, we secured our early rounds. We did well. We did good in round 2. We're just out shooting everybody. Well, here's what happens whenever you get into the finals moving in. Everybody can shoot. Everybody has strong positioning. Everyone has great map awareness. And so you have to start playing a little bit more, like, I guess, fast paced. You can't let that couple of seconds really tick down on you. You need to make sure you get in early, secure the positions that you want, because everybody's going to be fighting for these positions. As we say, here goes the Great Migration. Look off to the eastern side of the map. Oh my God, so many vehicles are coming in. Everybody's on foot. Now it's going to be all of these squads. See how they come in just like 30 seconds too late. And they're going to have to be pushing into all these squads that are already in a very centralized position. And they're all going to be shot as they make these approaches.
I can see Havu have grouped, so collectively transferring any of the items they need. And like you say, Crimson making the way across in vehicles, all going to be passing by Pachinki. Nobody's actually took up Occupation Pachinki yet. Looks like a squad maybe going to do it. Brasserie in there at the moment, having a look at it with Kaizen. Nobody choosing to stick there because it can be, the town skirmishes can get messy. There's shots up to the north at the moment, and that's Awin, Awayin or Avayin, I don't know how you want to pronounce it, whether he's German or European or how the pronunciation wants to go. Down to the south from Orsk has a happy squad there. Ferry Pier, or just left of Ferry Pier, has a happy squad in it. So everybody, there's a lot of real estate that people can fill. 80 people are still alive. Nobody going down yet. As I say that, Texas from Crimson has just been down.
Yeah, they're doing a drive up right next to the potato, right in the middle of the map. Some people refer to it as Potato Hill just due to how it looks onside the map itself. So they were trying to pull back out, but you're seeing a strong push coming out right now from Calvin, doing another knockdown onto Texas. This is going to be really rough. Miriku's trying to do a run back out, trying to find somewhere safe to go to, but he's just caught in a flank, taking damage from 2 different angles right now. So trying to figure out how he can get through. Lore's trying to provide a little bit of cover fire, and you should also note that T-Bone looks like he was going for a flank, but now that Miriku's down, I think that they just might have to pull off of that, and that's going to be 2 early casualties. They do get the down, but I think that's just a retreat.
Yeah, I think he's just they're gonna back out. And Miraku should be okay. They should be able to get Miraku out of there. Tex is gone. No T-Bone's off. He's obviously decided, Miraku, you are a lost cause, despite the heroics they did in the last game. That's a shame for Miraku because he looks like he's pretty safe, but obviously the rest of the team, they didn't really have position. So Crimson lose 2 members early on. Let's have a look at Havu. They're making their way in. Oh, and there's a squad heading straight into G2 right now, or actually between G2 and Avanga. Not a place I'd like to be.
Let's see that a lot of shots are coming out now. That's going to force them back and around. Damage is getting pretty strong onto the vehicle, but are they going to push right over into Mumino's waiting hands? Looks like they may be. This is a horrible spot for them to be at. They're caught between
Keen just got hit. Keen just got smashed. I don't know what hit him. It had to have been, I would like to say that was a car, but I don't see any car 98s. But something hit him hard in a one-shot hit. Mayday goes down, Mayday goes down so from falling, so leaping out the vehicle somewhere along that lines. Kaizen does get in safe, so they're actually plumbing to go into the trenches.
That's usually the de facto, okay, I don't know where to go. There's everything that seems to be taken. Let's just get into here. So we'll jump down in the trenches, take your vehicles, and you'll move to this further back spot. You can see right now where Crazen's at. He's just kind of pulling forward, and he's moving into where the tunnels kind of connect at. And you can make a very strong defense there, specifically if you keep your vehicles active.
G2 have decided to move. They've decided, you know what, we don't like this complex. Let's go. They're actually getting right close to Crimson right now. They're taking shots from Rory. We also see Havu. They're passing by. So Rory at the moment. Oh, they want Crimson's complex, I think, here. I'm not sure. Do they want Crimson's complex? That's Crimson just... Obviously, only 2 members of Crimson in there. Weko coming round. So they're all grouped together. I think they're just going to be happy in the hills instead. Oh, T-Bone just get down by Tyrone. Velen, did he just get run over?
Vehicle. Yeah, he jumped out of his vehicle and it kind of turned downhill. On
No. He wasn't in the vehicle, was he? I think Wacko just literally ran him over.
Oh, well, we were talking about a second ago. Sometimes you have to shoot at your friends. Sometimes you have to run them over. Gotta let people know who's in charge.
Well, crazy. Oh, wow. Okay, the Finns have gone in. The Finns have gone in, and I think they've lost a couple there. No, Nero's just been down. I don't really mind. Bikini Model, they've just gone in and cleared them. They just like, this is ours now. Thank you very much. They have taken over a compound.
It's really interesting to see how everybody's opting into the southern area of the map or in the northern section. We have multiple little skirmishes that are happening right now. So we can see that Ewan's in a little bit of a fight with Outsider and the rest of their teams. But in the tree lines over to the south, there's also a lot of fights happening.
Quarantine going straight towards G2. He just diverted. I don't think he knew. I think he had a clue. But honestly, he's diverted. Law actually on the hill. Wookie Bookie's team just behind him as well. Law actually, I think he's on his own. I think he's just lost his 2 teammates. Yeah, so he's sitting in a very dangerous position. So have a look. Let me zoom out and get a full rotation, a view of what's going on.
Northeast of Gatka is where it's going on right now. As you can see that Fausto is doing a push-up onto Longo. Get the kill onto that. There is a full other squad that's back behind us. You can see Arwen's caught in a little bit of a fight with Outsider and Crew. Looks like he's trying to get some type of position. Outsider looks like they're now pushing out and forward towards the rest of Arwen's squad.
Yeah, Jokis lands the couple of shots there. As you say, they're coming behind him. Arwen's going to get taken down. They have the ridge line as well, more importantly. Jockey's going to get down. It is Faust, and that is a squad wipe right there. That was a quick squad wipe as well.
I think that was 2 squad wipes, all things considered. We saw several different squads getting taken out right there. And that becomes the danger. This road, a lot of people like to play around. And it almost ends up being a death trap every single time, just as Everest seems to block off one of the paths for it. And here we go. We can see that looking back over towards the south, a lot of people still repositioning. I have to point out, look at right now where Raptor, Caucus are moving through. They went all the way down around Quarry, and we're coming all the way up on the other side of it. Quarry. Why do I keep saying Quarry? And so now they're going to come up, and they have that complete section of the map all to themselves.
Dominator's team just coming up and over the brow, so they're about to come in. They were over in military base, probably the last people to move into the circle. So remember, this still engulfs Georgipol, just a tiny amount. Still a lot of shots going on. G2 taking a couple of shots themselves. Law, the last man standing for Crimson now, so just on his own, trying to keep his team up there. Did very well in the last game. Remember, they got taken really low with the 2-man squad on the edge of the river, and managed to hold on. I think they got 4th place in the end as well because of that.
That ends up being a very big deciding factor between a lot of these squads, since more often than not you're playing for points and positioning. How well can you do whenever you take early casualties? Can you manage a path properly? Can you figure out how to stay alive? Can you, because you kind of have to go in like a ninja strategy at that point. You don't really want to shoot because you don't want to draw a 4-man squad towards you. So you have to be very, very careful in how you progress through. And a lot of the really repeatedly high-performing squads are the ones that can really take early losses and figure out how to turn them into some type of late-game strategy.
Watching AAA, they've took over the radio tower. We talked about this position a number of times. So they're in there with their vehicle strategy sets up. They've got in there very safe as well from Georgipol South. They were in, weren't they, for a large portion? Got pretty well geared out there. Zix, I see, has just been down by a Car 98. Where is that?
That's going to be right off the side of the chopsticks there. 2 squads just kind of shooting back and forth at each other. Zix is in a further forward position, though, but should be really easy to get up and res him. At this point, they're just trying to burn meds, armor, helmets off of the other squads when you do these kind of shootout situations. It'd be nice if you get a kill, but 9 times out of 10 when you're taking shots at this stage in the game, you're just hoping that you can burn off any form of resources from the other team that you can.
Okay, circle about to come in. Let's see where we go then. Let's see. The Great Migration will begin any second. Or will they? I mean, they're all got a decent central cluster, if I'm honest. There's probably not too many that we're going to have to move after this one, I think.
See, here's where you have to ask yourself, are you a good person or are you a bad person? Do you want the circle on all of the squads so that way they can have a little bit more safety? Or do you want it to be nowhere near them and have them all have to rush really quickly?
Oh, there's a few that are going to move. That's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squads that are going to have to make. 7, actually, because there's Vixer way up in that top corner. 8, 9, because the 2 down the bottom. But they're already going to move. They're going to get out of there, no problem. So who's this going to benefit the most? Well, G2 must have some sort of second sight, because they moved into that complex. They had one further north. They decided they weren't happy with it, and the complex they're in now is right in the center, and Enso is heading right towards them.
Well,
as is Shiv, AAA going there as well. Oh my god, okay, bloodbath.
Right now. But look at this, Unconspicuous is getting a knockdown off to everybody that's approaching over towards him. all of these vehicles are just leaning into a very early movement. So we have roughly 66 people inside of this, and most of them are moving or already stationary inside the circle. Just look at this. Everybody's just trying to hunt and find somewhere to stop at, but everybody's looking for like buildings. Nobody's just choosing to stay out in the open.
It's just a great migration. You know, I'm going to prefer the map because this is just chaos. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, Shiv, AAA have parked right next to G2. They've decided the buildings right next to G2 is going to be their territory, but there's another squad coming behind them. Blade and Starq is going to try and push in behind, see if he can catch out Monkey unawares. Going to manage to get inside. He's trapped him in there. He's actually going to go in the bathroom. Go for the reload. Monkey.
Whatever happens, you just have to run into the bathroom and just pray.
Here comes his teammate. Blade's going to get down. They're going to shut the door. Outside has taken... Oh, no! Outside has been blown up! So that's no loot game and losing one man. Obviously, they just won the last round. How's it playing out? Oh, my God. There's a bloodbath over here. Kane with the shotgun. Wookie Bookie. The plane is going right overhead. Zuda in there as well. Gustavo. Zuda's basically got himself pinned in above. Starq does go down in the end to Monkey. So that's AAA being finished out. They've managed to get themselves occupied into that building. What happened to Avanga? Avanga, I can't see them. The Finns have gone north. Avanga, where on earth are they? Okay, they're down here. They're down south. Oh my God, they're actually in the fields. That's not good for them. They had a really nice complex, and now all they've got is an outhouse.
Well, sometimes you have to make do with what you've got. Specifically, I do have to point out, I really like where we're seeing Jansen playing at. Like, inside of these tree areas, you can see that nobody's really going for this. Everybody's still leaning into trying to get to buildings. Or I was talking about, like, choosing an open area. Sometimes you can just find some divots in the ground, and they can be just as useful as the buildings around. So instead of just forming everybody and just jumping inside of a shack with a whole ton of people, instead, just choose somewhere that you can get some nice solid sight lines and some form of protection, whether it be trees, divots. Make some use out of that, and they can potentially have control over a nice section of the area. But Keen is encroaching on it. It's all going to be a matter of if he can sneak up into them or not.
Yeah, Keen's just in one of those little houses as well next door. So everybody's kind of adjusted themselves. There's just two squads that are making their way in. There's a squad making their way around the left side of Quarry at the moment, so they're working their way through. There is actually a nice building complex completely unoccupied for them. A crate drop actually towards the south. Not too sure anyone really going to look towards that at this stage of the game. I can tell you it's got an M24 in it, adrenaline shot, ghillie suit, 8x scope, and a level 3 helmet. It's a decent crate, that one.
And it's not too far away from another squad. You can see that Just Insane, the rest of their squad is like, do we go for this? It's pretty out in the open, and so they might just continue to keep an eye on it. But really, it's pretty safe for them right now. Nobody would have line of sight on it. Naturally, they don't know that, but at that point, Temptation's got to be kicking in just a little bit. They haven't heard any shots coming out from anywhere. We got just a couple more seconds before the next circle updates, and I'm really interested to see how this is going to go down. Because we have 58 people still alive. The next circle is just going to be too tiny for this amount of people.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that we're going to see a huge bloodbath as everybody's going to try to figure out how to go into the circle. It's going to be interesting to see if squads are going to opt into an early spot and centered up. We saw that inside of Twitch chat and on social media. Everybody was just like, "Oh, we would need more
center circle."
Well, guess what? You're getting all your centering inside of this game. No excuses this time for anybody.
No excuses at all, and this is going to make it very interesting. Okay, this is where the camera work really kicks in, and I fail because this is going to be very hard to follow. 58 people alive in this section. Now, I'm looking at King Kevin's and Zicky's. They know there's a squad that has to move up on them now because they have position, and look at this. They've already positioned themselves for Barisari and Kaizen and Shaza actually all have to push up on them. Just saw Fong get down by Dave Crazy. That is Blackmane actually taking shots. Let's have a look at Blackmane. Used to be a sniper before. He's got a Mini 14 and a decent scope on him as well. He's taken some serious shots on Frenzox and Frenzox? Yeah, Frenzox. I'll go with that. And VixQ over the side.
Really, we're just seeing everybody trying to scramble and find where they can potentially play at. Look up at the northern side of the circle right now. You can see that Rory's getting into a fight with several different members of the other squad. Everybody's just pushing, trying to make it inside the circle. This is an absolute catastrophe over here. Multiple squads just collapsing on top of each other. Yeah,
Rory's. This is the squad I was talking about. Kevin's. They had this set up. They knew they were going to get pushed in on, and they are safe now. The squad white comes in. They do take down Brasserie, the last man, so they will get themselves all back alive. So they've held the ground. Another squad coming in. They're going to push in towards G2. Do they have any sort of ridge line? It does look like they have a small one. Sadly for them, it's not inside. And of course, G2 have that complex that they're going to have to push up on. I think they're going to look towards going to the hillside. And Silenzo, he's just down AAA. Hold on, what's going on here? They're going to push in. Monkey has been downed. Velen just knocked someone as well as they moved in shift there.
That was a very long-range shot, about 500 meters coming up, getting the down onto that. So just going to be forcing them to retreat back, get a little bit of a res up. 54 people still up and active. Everybody's just trying to push in towards the circle. And here we go. We've got one that's collapsing on a squad off to the south. And yes, we're seeing a lot of fights coming out from here. This Q is trying to push forward. There's just no buildings for him. He's just going to be driving through everything, and everybody's going to be able to unload on him.
Oh, God, they've just flipped the car straight into a building. Cute Boy and Wick are ready and waiting for them. They're going to come around the corner, and they're going to hope that it's empty. But it's not. It's not. They're going to push on around. Wick is ready and waiting. They're going to come around the corner, straight into the bathroom. Wick gets down. They managed to turn it back around, though, because there's one man in the corner, but he's been down. So they've actually successfully took it. Pants is going to get fixed back up, and they have managed to capture the building.
See, it was all calculated whenever they flipped the car, you know. Turn around sides, that way nobody knows how they're coming in through here. We're still having a lot of skirmishes around the edges as everybody's trying to figure out how they want to make it in the circle. And with the number of people in here, they're not wanting to push in into the center like we've been seeing this past couple of times. So instead, we're getting a lot of long-range fights of these people playing the edges, but that means that they're stuck out in the fields. So it's going to be about how they can try to position out, and you can see a lot of shots coming along this eastern side, and the next circle just pops up, and there's only really one squad in it. Well, I guess two squads if you count the two people remaining in it. And a lot of this is wide open fields.
Everybody moving.
We saw how that could be last game. This is going to be really rough as everybody's just going to have to figure out how they can make something out of this. We talked about beforehand. Try to play death blades, try to play dips inside of this. Luckily, this build does have a few of them.
Blackman tries to peek over the top. He gets downed as they try and push out Dave Crazy. They're holding the hill line at the moment. The ridge is covered off. Looks like Mark's going to get him back up. Mark Horner, the COD 4 pro from Dignitas, still going strong. But look at the blue. We can see it's going to be a decent flank around, but Zenta's going to push up. Zenta's going to get him down. Kossier down. Molno the Great, and it's going to be Mark, the last man standing. He gets wiped out. That is the Dominators down as they get cleared out. Now, let's go back out because everybody has to move. Ed Silenzo and co. The Havu, they are moving in. Law is right there. Crimson, they're coming straight into Crimson's building. Law, all on his own. I don't think he's going to have much luck here. I think they're just outside the circle. Are they pretty certain the Law's inside here? He's basically in the bathroom. Okay, let's go Law's perspective.
Well, at this point, you have to check it. You can't risk somebody coming up back behind you. You can see Bikini Model is jumping through the windows, trying to get line of sight. I think
grenade,
he might have gotten spotted. Yeah, so it's just a matter of going, okay, they're going to be coming through the windows. Please don't let this grenade hit me. Managed to get the door closed. So it's just going to be, how are they going to approach? He's trying to figure out what angle they're coming from because he can hear footsteps around him from everywhere.
Another grenade from Bikini Model. He's got to move. He's run to the kitchen. Got in safely, just about. He's going to have to challenge soon enough. They're going to rush him. And then as Jorski manages to take him down. So complex capture. G2 yet to move at the moment. AAA making their move. There's shots up in the north. Rory and co. Sensiban going to try and take him down. Miguel very low. I think Sensiban, is he on his own? No, it's a three-man squad. Just insane behind him and Magnate. Remember, these guys finished first in the first round. Had themselves a decent... Well, only got the one kill in there, but that was all they had. Shadow moving in. Oh my god, they're coming straight in on the Finns, I believe. No, it's Vix and Pants, the guys that just stormed that house. They are now under siege from the French.
Well, we have the circle that's pressing in, and there's so many skirmishes going along around the outside of this. The northeastern section is an absolute bloodbath already. You can see right around where we were just looking with Enzo. A vehicle tries to roll up in here, and that is not what you wanted to have happen. You can see Tyrone is bleeding out right now. Wacko is driving away with a smidgen of life left. It's just a fight after fight. Now, if you look back over down towards the south, you can see that Lux is getting aggressed upon. Tally's going down. 3-4 squads all up on top of each other, and several of them going down. Now just 2 up and alive.
G2 got annihilated. Velen, the last man standing. Can he get this first aid through? No, he goes down outside the play zone. AAA in there. Encelenso with Havu are in there. Vanguard are in there. They've been in this little, tiny little outhouse for so long. They moved now. They've got themselves just basically a hill in the outside, so they're just taking shots at everyone they see.
Well, the next circle is up, and
wait, Dranis just got the kill as well. He just wiped the squad out. Dranis did.
Solid fights coming out from this, so we're going to have to see how everybody's now going to move forward here. I really like to see this position coming out from Enzalenzo. I don't really mind Jorsky and Bikini Model. They're doing a good job of holding the high ground and making sure nobody can really push from any different angles. So the problem with it is they are going to have to push down themselves. They do have a little bit of tree cover as they make their way down, but they're going to have to push right on top of Gustav's team.
Oh, Dranis down. That is a beauty shot there. He's going to get back up. His team will sort him out, don't worry. But that was a cracking shot. He's been causing a lot of problems for everyone there. But look, like you say, the circle comes in. It does mean AAA needs to move. It means Havu needs to move. And they're right next to each other. So they're going to move complexes. Gustavo landing shots. Of course, he finishes off Miguel there. So this farm complex, I think it's safe to say, has got good at this ridgeline. Look at that. AAA, you're going to use that smoke and they're going to move up now. Now they have to be careful because Havu are to the left. But they have this little hill ridgeline. So they can push in, and they're just going to go prone out here for now. So while this is all happening, Gustavo's looking at Enzalenzo and co. as they make their way down. Enzalenzo tanking out. Is he going to get the heal through in time? Bikini Model gets down. I don't really mind as the last man. He's going to get knocked out by the play zone. Enzalenzo, he's just going to try and tank through and get as much first aid in as he can. Mumino gets another kill down there. That's a Vanguard still looking very good. It's I don't really mind, ironically, that got took down. It's all going to be on AAA. A AAA, a Vanguard, and once again, another squad. So top 3 places for one of these teams. Ship gets absolutely nailed by Gustavo, who pops around the corner. Shadow going to truck a grenade through. Doesn't really find its target. He's going to push into these little complex. Monkey has got himself safe ground. A Vanguard, they're kind of just spectators right now from a long range. They've got to start making moves, but the circle is actually kind of near them.
Well, at this point, you really don't want to get involved in this. You can see that there are 9 people alive. You know that you're 3 of them. Let these guys kind of fight it out. Do damage to each other and let them come to you. Now, the only thing that they could potentially want to do is maybe reposition this vehicle, but they're kind of nervous right now. They don't know how they want to push through, but they don't see any lines coming out. They're actually throwing grenades off on the hills next to them. I think that they're trying to get them over at this little wooden shack and blow it up. The actually only thing that's happening is they're drawing attention to themselves now as everybody's looking for the source of all of these explosions.
Yeah, Wookie Bookie and Kate looking that way. Trifeli peeking. Shadow actually just having a peek as well. Gustavo's managed to get himself back up and healed. Shadow's just kind of just waiting this one out, along with Monkey. They've no reason to push. Just time is kind of on their side because both of them, they know they have to move, and I guess it depends on them, the first aid positions. Okay, Gustavo's going for it. He's gone out the back. Trifeli's going to follow him, so they're grouping up here. They want to make the push around the side. Is Trafeli going to make the move through the blue? No, he's not. They're going to hit the vehicle. Oh, this is ballsy. Oh, my word. Monkey's been knocked. Monkey got knocked by a Vanguard there at the back.
And that's going to put everything onto Shadow. As Shadow's on the backside of this. Does get it down.
Play zone.
But could play a little bit of spoiler.
Play zone's got him.
Shadow's going to go down from it. But look at this. So much damage coming up. It's only one of us is the only person up and alive right now. Mumino's still up and alive.
And they're dead. That is... you know what? That I was talking, ironically, earlier on about... And we've not seen a squad getting a 15-plus kill count yet. There they are. There they are. Gustavo and co. Let's find their team name exactly, because I am not too sure on it. But that is, what, 7, 11, 15, 19 kills? 19 kills? In a final? That's pretty epic.
It's coming in and making a statement, to say the least. And as we were talking about beforehand, points. Points become a big factor inside of there. 19 kills can stack up really fast inside of this. So that's actually going to be white kids, I believe, with Gustav.
Yeah, Wookie Bookie, yeah.
So that's going to be white kids coming out making a strong performance there. They've been kind of tickling in inside of this. So this is going to be a nice big point influx for them. Really interesting to see how this is going to shake up how all the points are sitting, because getting first is worth a ton of points as is, but then getting 19 kills in first, that's just absolutely insane. That could blow the top off of this points. And I mean, we still have 2 more rounds to go, but that's definitely going to put them in striking position of trying to reach that qualifying spot for IEM.
Yeah, and that is really what we should start talking about, because you think of G2, they've had not really much going on for them. They finished 8th with a single kill in that game. Think of AAA. They are looking golden right now. AAA have had 2 third places and a 4th. They are looking very good. Very, I mean, that is like the epitome of keeping up there. They've done brilliantly. Vanguard as well. They've had two second place finishes, and I think the other one was like 15th or something like that. But it doesn't matter. They've got another 8 kills and a second place. That's put them in a good place. So a Vanguard AAA, I would say, very much close to being guaranteed a spot. Don't forget, there's only 4 spots, so it's still nothing. Nothing is guaranteed right now. I would say one of these teams.
Somebody can get first place and 19 kills in a round.
Yeah.
That could just change up the point system entirely.
Exactly. So, I mean, if you're looking at your G2s, even your Havus in there, obviously just got 4th place. One of these needs to have one of those monster performances. And I'm not seeing it right now.
Yeah, G2 seems to be having a lot of trouble figuring out how they're making their transitions into Circle 1 and 2. I mean, specifically, we saw them having what they thought was a decent position and opting into an early strategy movement. And whenever they did that, they ended up taking a lot of damage, didn't really get to where they wanted to. Then they managed to secure down a spot, and they held it for a little while. But then just everybody collapsed in on them while they were still playing the edge of it. So really interesting to see how they might make adaptations, because that's the big part of PUBG. Once you start playing with teams that you're not used to playing with, you have to make these adaptations and go, okay, this doesn't seem to be working. Let's see what we can learn from this. Because, again, yes, there is a little bit of RNG elements inside this, but skill and strategy are what going to get you those repeat performances that we're seeing from these guys that are regularly getting into the top 5.
So, previous to this round, White Kids were in 5th place with 385 points. They've just won it and had 19 kills. That, I believe, has put them in 1st place. I believe White Kids are now in 1st place, like solid 1st place. Don't forget Vanguard also. They were in 3rd with 425 points. They've just had another 2nd place finish with the 8 kills they've had. That has put them in a really good position as well. AAA, obviously, another great finish for them. Despite the fact they only had 6 kills, it does give them a solid 3rd place once again. So Havu, they're a long way off. They weren't even in the top 13 before this one. G2 were down, not even in the top 14. So they are both going to have a massive finish in these next 2 rounds if they want to qualify.
Yeah, I mean, there's still time. We talked about it a second ago. If you really perform, you get those 1st place slots, you can get back up there. Because, I mean, if you look at it, sure, the squad that's in last place right now has 90 points. The one that's at the top right now has 475. But we just talked about it a second ago. One squad secures a win off of that. That's 300 points. And then you get like another 200 points from a kill. And guess what? You're back in the competition. So don't count anybody out yet, but man, we really need these next round is going to be really important for these squads that are kind of tailing towards the bottom. They really need to step up their performances because you don't want to have to wait until that very last round and put all that pressure onto yourself to really fight for that spot for Oakland.
All right, guys, we're going to be back for round number 4 in just a few moments. Do not go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break. We're jumping in the server. The server's ready already. Hopefully, I can get in it as quick as possible. And we'll be back on the way for round number 4. We'll see you in a few.